One, and we are live. Hello, everybody. This is Eloheem Ali. You are at the right place. YouTube, Eloheem Ali's channel. I'm here to bring you. Sorry, hold on, everyone. There's something that went haywire. I'm here to bring you the Heru Month discussions. This will be the last panel discussion, so I'm really glad that you're here and that you gave us your time. Um, I wanted to set an early apology for my wife.
Okay. All
For
right.
all,
Okay, he's back.
I'm back. When did things stop? When's the last thing I heard?
Um, it just stopped for a moment, so just continue from where you were going.
Cool. So, like I said, I apologize for my Wi-Fi, but I also bring good news that I got a new position in D.C., District of Columbia, for teaching at an African Center school called Ideal. Here I'll be teaching history.
Okay.
Fortune. So,
Okay.
um, so please bear with me. If it goes out too long, Ayana will definitely pop in for me and help me out. Now, Heru Month. For the people out there who's been saying they don't really understand the concept of Heru Month, why do we need it? We should be spending black all year round. I completely agree with you. We should be spending black all year round. But the fact is that we're not. So when people aren't doing something, the best way to convince them to do it is to go step by step. You know what I'm saying? And try to make some type of relation with them. The Ray Heru Month came about is when the Black activist movement was watching the way we reacting to December. As you know, the Nation of Islam decided to boycott Thanksgiving in December, or Thanksgiving and Christmas, along with, I believe, New Year's. And we thought that it was a little unrealistic. Not that we doubt our people, but we also know our people, and so do you. You know that everybody wants to buy their mom something for Christmas. Everybody wants to buy their kids something. Nobody wants their kids to go to school without a Christmas present. It is what it is. It's not even about Jesus. It's never, Christmas isn't really about Jesus anyway. So some people aren't even Christian still buying presents on Christmas. And so, um, with that being said, we thought it was a little bit unrealistic to ask black people to stop buying their family things. I'm sure some people watching could relate that they're still going to buy their parents or their friends things in the wintertime and not care nothing about whether Jesus Christ was born that day or whether Santa exists or not. So we brought in Haruma. We were thinking that, well, Haru's birthday is really on the 25th anyway. It's not really Christ's birthday. His birthday, that character's birthday is long after that. I believe it's either late summer or early fall. I think the scholars were saying that his birthday may have been. But Haru's birthday is December 25th. So we don't want to throw away the baby with the hot water, you know we do want to keep things that are ours, and that is December 25th. That does belong to our people. And just because another people claim it doesn't mean that we have to let it go. So what we tried to do was connect it with spending black. We know black people spend the most in December, you know. So we said instead of telling them not to do it at all, isolating them from the urge to spend, let's point that in a more positive direction towards our own people and helping our own businesses. And I don't know about you, but I did spend as black as I could this winter. I still got some spending to do with the panel right here, but yeah, it's very essential. So remember, people, it's a step-by-step thing, and hopefully, black holidays start taking more hold in black communities. Now we're going to move on. We're going to go into our panel because this is the reason why we're here. We're here to talk about black businesses, and we have so many beautiful black businesses here joining us today. All right, we are going to start off with the same order that you guys went when we were offline. It's the same order that we're going to go through for most of the night. So we're going to start off with the beautiful Ayana. We're going to start
Peace,
off with
peace and Black Power family. I'm Ayana, and I have a YouTube channel, Goddess Ayana. I also have my own online store, www.godpiece.com, godpiece.com, and I make copper crystal jewelry and all natural body products and things like that. And I'm on Instagram at Divine Stargate.
All right, moving on. Next brother. Say,
Peace. This is Sonicat and a Suit Menta. You guys can hear me all right? Okay. Yeah, I have a website, consciouscreations.com. That's conscious with a K. I have art prints as well as do commission work, graphic design commission work, as well as have my own line of clothing, Conscious Designs. That's kind of like the avenue that I've chosen to kind of bring African spirituality and culture to the people. So that's pretty much what I do.
next brother.
Peace, fam. My name is Adnan. I run the business Nabs Vision Art and Design. It's pretty much just I sell paintings and different forms of sketches and any other form of art that's possible that's solely represented by the beauty of Black people. That's my biggest muse for my art, and that's usually what I'm aiming towards when I do it. But also, it's open to multicultural. That's all any forms of anybody that was African or Pan African that branched out from the original tribes in the standard form. You can find me on Instagram at Nabs Vision.
Word. Next.
Peace, my name is Akua Agusi, and I am book author and owner of Seeds Book Publishing. Can you guys hear me? Okay, right on. So I write children's books. Here are a few of them. I've been writing, well, I guess I should say more so. I published my first book maybe about 5 years ago or so, and my whole motivation for writing is to enlighten and empower our children and not teach them rhetoric, not teach them to just say Black power or to say that they're proud of being African or Pan-African, but showing them why they should be proud and showing them, a variety of their potential so it can become reality. I always start from the ancestors' childhood so that the children can relate to the story and they can see the potential manifest and see that, in order to be triumphant or successful, you're going to have to overcome these different kinds of objections that have sometimes nothing to do with the struggle in terms of being revolutionary, but just, maybe having a challenging childhood or traumatic experience. But I try to involve a lot of different forms of healing, chakra healing, and knowing that children develop their root chakra in their child. Well, we as people develop our root chakras in our childhood. So I try to incorporate character development, just a lot of different avenues. So when your child is reading a book about Marcus Garvey or Queen Nzinga, Madam T.J. Walker, it's not just about those individuals, but again, those other things. So yeah, that's what I do.
Word. Next queen. That would be Liz.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Lizzie Finesse. My storefront is on Etsy at this time under Finesse Eccentric. What I'm doing is producing the wearable art movement, which is basically making art accessible to all people, especially art that is inspired by Africans and different things that I've researched. It started off with a series of vessels that I built in college called talking vessels. So basically each piece that I create are a part of that creation. They incorporate cowrie shells, copper wire, glass beads, um, paintings, sketches, and basically it's making art accessible to all people, especially Black people, for us to love and own our beauty, which is revolutionary in itself. Oh, you can find me on Facebook at Eccentric Finesse, and on Instagram, Eccentric Finesse, and Tumblr, Eccentric Finesse.
Okay, word. And all that was beautiful, but now I want to hear a story. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I want to hear a story from all y'all on like how it even started. Like, what is y'all story like? How did things even hit you? Like, yeah, man, I'm gonna start doing my own business. Or how was the first time actually trying to sell your own stuff? You know, give us a bit of background inside of your businesses. We're going to start again, same order from Ayana.
So, well, when I decided I was not going to, I'm going to talk about when I decided I was not going to work for anybody else anymore. I was 22 years old. I was working full time. I was going to school full time, and I was also working overtime while, breastfeeding a 10-month-old and however old else, the months I was doing this, and I was working at a call center, Comcast, and which is the worst ever. They like love to screw their people out, by the way. They do that. And it was just like I was just like, this is awful. This is awful. Like I can't. This is some bull crap. This is an evil company. I was becoming spiritual at the same time, so I was realizing how bad shitty Comcast was. Um, and all that, and they were even outsourcing our jobs to the Philippines, and I'm just like, screw this. I'm just not somebody that can do this anymore. I said I can't be under the white man anymore. So I just made a situation for myself where um, I started making a hobby pay for itself. I liked creating jewelry. I liked doing that. I was getting into the crystals more and more. I was studying crystals heavy, like the physics of crystals, the piezoelectricity, the different types, the Kirlian camera, and the what it does to the aura. And I was just like so fascinated by crystals. So like it was like during my love of crystals that I started doing the jewelry, and after a while, like I would post up my stuff and people wanted to buy it. I said, okay, sure. I'm not trying to work for nobody. This is working for me. People want it. I'm going to make it. And poof, there it was.
That's weird. That's weird right there. Because I worked for Comcast as well, so I already know what she means. I worked for Xfinity as a salesman, and working for other people, especially other people who aren't from your culture, their background can be really hard. Like at least for me, like I used to always tell my mom, like I remember my first job. My first job was at Burger King, and I hated it like every second. And I remember coming home, I was like 15. I come on, I told my mom, like, Mom, I'm not working. I don't know how y'all do it every day. I don't know how y'all can just go about slaving. I can't do it. I'm not. This is not for me. I can't. I'm not gonna be able to work here for 4 years. I was supposed to work this for the rest of my high school career. I was like, I can't do it. Sorry. So I definitely can relate to the whole feeling of not wanting to work for someone. All right. Next, same order, brother.
Peace. I guess my journey started. Um, I wanted to be in the comic books and illustration with my artwork, and so I aspired to join like Marvel Comics and be an illustrator for their books. And one day while illustrating, it was kind of funny. I was drawing a cast of characters, and one of my characters was African American, like the token African American character. And in trying to illustrate this character and put together his makeup, I realized I couldn't draw his features. Like I realized that I couldn't draw his hair. And it, it's something that sounds funny, but as I sat there, I was like, I can't draw my own hair. Like I can't draw somebody that looks like me. And it really hit me. Like it really like sat me down and I thought about this, and I was like, I could draw all these like anime characters with the long hair and, you know, the spiky hair, and I couldn't draw like a fro. Like I couldn't draw locks. I couldn't, and it bugged me out so much, man. Like it actually hurt. My family is from Ghana, like, you know, West Africa, and so, you know, that's it's in my roots, like it's around my house, like, you know, it's in the artifacts and the wooden sculptures and things. So for me not to be able to replicate that in my artwork, it kind of really sat with me. So from that moment on, I pretty much said, I'm not drawing another character that is not of, you know, my people. And that's the way it's been since then. I really don't draw anything, and I dedicated myself to learning how to draw my own people and bringing that out. And the more I looked at the industry, I noticed that there weren't characters that resembled me. So I was like, I don't want to work for these people. I want to work for myself. I want to bring African, you know, culture. I want to bring African spirituality to the forefront. And I've been doing that ever since, man. I've been really pushing that. And in my journey of African spirituality, you know, I came across the Kemetic African spiritual system, and that's even more far removed. Like if you even consider just, you know, African or, you know, Black, you know, images being, you know, not really in the industry, African spiritual systems are completely, you know, not really being practiced on the regular basis. So I really set out through my teachings at the Temple of Anu in Newark to really bring African spiritual centered clothing and books and illustrations to everybody, so that, you know, that I can like bridge that gap. And, you know, you don't have to say, oh man, I have to go buy somebody else's stuff, because I can actually go somewhere where, you know, I'm represented in the clothing. So that's kind of what brought me to where I am now.
Sorry, my mic wasn't popping up. Nah, I wanted to comment on that before the next person went. Um, I never heard a story like that. That was actually really interesting. Like, never heard of artists like put back like, yo, I can't draw my own people. And I remember I used to draw anime a lot, and I remember trying to draw our lips. That was my issue, trying to draw our lips. I'm so used to drawing these slits for like white and Asian people. Seriously, 'cause, you know, that's what they do for anime. They draw like little slits because they look so small. So when I'm drawing black people, I'm like, yo, I don't know how to draw this without it looking stupid. So it's very interesting, you know, because that goes back just to imagery when we grow up with as kids. You know, we want to draw these cartoon characters, but all the cartoon characters is drawn very Western. And the Asians, you know, not to offend anybody who's Asian right now, but the Asians are so into Western culture that they draw their characters looking very Western as well. Like, you know, it's really hard. Anime doesn't look like Asian people. If you look at most animes, they look like they're European. It's just the way they look. So that's why when they adapt them into movies, a lot of fans get upset. But the people making the movies are like, oh, I didn't know this character looks like a white guy. I didn't know he was supposed to be Asian. So, you know, it's just a very interesting point, you know, brought up. Moving on to the brother Nash.
Y'all can hear me? All right, so I realized that I could draw when I was around 7. Tried to sketch something I saw in a magazine and ended up like completely recreating it on a paper. My mom noticed it, and she was like, I didn't know you could draw. I was like, I didn't know I could draw. And then she like pursued that talent completely, like threw me into like an animation course at a school, and started feeding me like buying me art supplies and just telling me to keep drawing. And my mom, like as I was a child, my mom used to always push towards any talent that I seen. Like I played a bunch of instruments. She put me in every single class for instruments. I could play sports. She put me in sports. Everything. Like my mom was always very supportive, trying to make sure I build every single talent that I seem to have developed as a kid. As far as my business is concerned, my one of my queens pretty much pushed me towards starting. She pretty much started the business for me, to be honest. August 31st, I came home from my job. I was a bouncer. at a bar. I came home from my job late, and my roommate, he was painting this game board that he remembered from his childhood because he's Caribbean. It's this game. What's the, Lodi? Ludi? It's a game called Ludi that like Jamaicans and other Caribbeans play. And he was recreating the game board because on a piece of wood. And I was like, I didn't know we had paint. I was like, we got paint? He said, yeah. So we got canvas? He said, yeah. He gave me a canvas and I took some of the paint. I sat down and I drew. I sat down for a second. I was like, I'm gonna draw something. I'm gonna see if I could paint. I never really liked paint. And I had like these two. I was thinking about like one of my sisters. I have a lot of sisters. I was thinking about one of my sisters and this other girl I knew, and I pretty much just drew their face mixed together on a canvas. And then I was like, I'm gonna try to paint it. And I'm gonna see what I could do with it. And I painted it, and it came out crazy. And I was just like, I didn't know I could paint. So I posted it on Instagram and Facebook, and everybody just went. Like, everybody showed mad love. Like it was beautiful. I was like, Dad, I didn't know you could paint. I'm like, I didn't know either. My mother called me like, what the hell? And then one of my queens, my oldest queen, she came over and she was just like, yeah, you need to do something with that. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. But I didn't really press it. And then she pressed it and she was just like, you know what, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start a business out of it. And she pretty much, I'm talking about like she registered me, she got access to all my accounts. She took my money and she put her money into it. And she did everything. Got me a license. I looked up, I had a banner with my logo on it. I had business cards. Like she had me booked for a showcase in Philadelphia. Like she put in work. She pretty much built the business for me I love her for that. And then my other queen, she showed all the support she could from what she was, and they all came together and they just pretty much just made me look like the man with this. And it was just like they kept supporting me and pushing me to keep painting. So next thing you know, I had 10 paintings sitting here ready for a showcase by the time it came around out of Philadelphia. And ever since then, it's just I've been pushing towards it, man. She was doing my oldest queen. She runs her own business of graphic designer, and she was really good. She's like a genius for marketing. So she was like marketing me on all the social networks and calling all the different art showcases and all these different companies and putting me on. And meanwhile, she just making sure I was painting. She just called me every once in a while like, keep painting. I'm just like, yes, man. And I keep painting and stuff. And then I posted them and she created like a Google Drive thing for me and started like she pretty much ran the company. So it's our company. But that's pretty much how that started. And that was August 31st. And ever since then, people been buying and I've been taking advice and people been inspiring me. And I'm like all the beautiful black women in the world and in my life, they all are the reason what inspired me to do all my paintings. If you look at my paintings on my page, you'll notice majority of them are black women, different forms and facets of black women because it's the black woman. Like she's God. Like she creates all different forms. You can't go wrong with trying to paint a black woman because they got all different forms. And so I use that as my muse every single time. From my sisters to my queens to my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, to the beautiful people I see today on this panel, to the people I meet in life. Like it's people in everything. All our people inspire us, and I put that in my artwork, and I put that through the business, and hopefully I've sold a lot of paintings and people love it every single time I send it, and it makes me happy to see that people love it every time I send it because all I'm trying to do is give them what they want.
Nah, man, that's really what's up, man. Like, yo, that's a crazy story because just to hear about the support from your queen and how from your queen who was really like, nah, you gonna do this. Like, nah, we gonna do this. We gonna do that. We gonna set you up here. That is beautiful, and a lot of people don't understand that. That's what relationships are about. Some people are just in relationships that have nothing to do with the other person's, business or talents or life or support. They're like, yeah, I'm a good girlfriend or I'm a good wife because I don't cheat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when people are just like, I don't cheat, so I'm really good. I'm great at this because I'm not screwing nobody else. And there's so much more to it. It's a relationship and you're supposed to be building something. So the fact that you guys are really there building, you know what I'm saying, that you are fortunate enough to have two queens in your life who are supporting you so much to lift you up. That is, I don't know, man. That's what it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? On both sides, that's what it's supposed to be. So it's always beautiful hearing stories like that. All y'all stories are really amazing, but that was real beautiful, man. Because that is very important. I can't stress that any more. And that's so important. Like, so anybody watching right now or who's gonna be watching in the future in a relationship, whether you are a man or a woman, whether you're in a monogamous or polygamous, I don't care. Take notes. That's what it's really about. That's what it comes down to, you know. So moving on to the queen.
Sorry, my mouse reaction is all delayed. Okay. So the story I'll share towards my early career, this is what started me writing. My son was about maybe 5, 6 at the time, and he was just infatuated with the cartoon characters, Superman, Spider-Man, et cetera, et cetera. And he would just recognize them everywhere we went. Like, oh, Mom, it could be just like a football field distance billboard, and he's pointing them out, and just the way he admired them really annoyed me, to be honest. So, we had this thing where he wasn't allowed to have any unmasked toys. So he could have Spider-Man because he had a mask or whatnot. And then it dawned on me, like, okay, well, if he remembers all these details about these characters, then apparently he's ready to learn about real-life heroes. So one day I taught him about Huey P. Newton, and I told him about his legacy, but I didn't tell him that he had expired. So he was like, well, is he alive? So I was just like, ooh, I was like, he's not. So I told him that he had an illness, and that illness led to his death because I figured when my son got older, then he could find out about the drugs and et cetera, et cetera. So I told him about that, and he starts crying. So I was just like, oh my God. Like, he took it really personal. He cried, and he cried like the rest of the night. He cried himself to sleep. So I was just like, damn, one, I was proud, to be honest, that he was that connected. And I took note that the details that I gave him, he connected to and struck something in him. So he wakes up the next day, and I'm thinking about it. I'm not thinking he is. And he was like, you know what, Mom? I'm not sad anymore. I said, all right, well, that's good. And he was like, do you know why? So I said, why? And he said, because I'm going to finish his work. And, oh, my God, like, that moment will never stop touching me. I started writing after that. So I wrote for him. And then the mate that I had at the time, he read the Garvey book. And he was like, yo, you need to publish this, because he was actually writing scripts, and I used to just help him. I didn't go to school for it, but he did, and he used to always say, like, yo, this is crazy. You didn't go to school for it, and I did, but, like, you're really good at it. You should consider it. And I was like, eh. So he was like, here we go again. He was like, you have to publish this. He was like, why don't you just shop it around? So I started shopping it around, and then I noticed that they wanted to own the rights every time, which I thought was really crazy because, of course, it's a book on Garvey. So I didn't think that some of these publishing companies would be interested, but they were. And I was like, you know what? It's such a sensitive thing. I would hate for them to get it and recreate it to something else and censor it, water it down. So I said, I need to have a deal where I still have all the rights. So I found another publishing company that allowed me to do that, but they charged me way too much for everything. And I'm like, I can't even provide the books at a rate where the families I want to get them can afford them. So I got to start a publishing company so that I could get these wholesale prices and deals that I need on, and just, learn more about the business so I can extend the opportunity to other authors that don't want to water down their material also. So that's how it happened.
So let me ask a question. So it was your son. How old was your son when this happened?
Yeah, he was like 5 or 6. He's 14 now. This was like 5 or 6 when that happened.
And he said, I want to finish. I'm not sad no more because I want to finish.
Yo, he stood up on the bed, and he was just like, it got my attention again, because when he said, I'm not sad, I was like, okay, good. I'm start looking around. He was like, do you know why? And I'm like, oh, why? He was like, because I'm going to finish the work. That's what I'm talking about.
I could write stories on that. That is amazing. Like, you got. I'm glad that he has you as his mother, because he's going to be somebody powerful one day, and I really respect that. Like that, I don't know, because people don't really understand. Like, some of these kids. I'm not saying that all kids aren't special. People take me when I say things like this wrong all the time, but some of these kids and some of these specific kids are really meant for a higher purpose. Everybody forgets Malcolm X started as a baby, started as a kid. Nobody knew, so certain children are meant for really great things, and I think that's a really big sign. Like the fact that he would even say that at 6 years old, he will learn about him. learn about how great he was, and then cry at the fact that he's no longer here. And then after that, he cheers himself up by taking on some type of responsibility. And his mom was saying, I'm gonna finish that work. Like, that's rare. Like, that's not just a kid thing. That's
Right.
really
I was amazed that he remembered it as soon as he woke up. I'm thinking, he's wake up, I'm hungry or whatever, but yeah,
wow,
he
man.
can't.
That is definitely inspirational. I'm gonna always remember. I'm gonna tell people your story. All right.
But his name is Amari.
His name is Amari. Amari.
Amari.
Okay. Amari. I'm definitely going to tell. And so I'm probably going to tell it to my kids in class. On Monday. They'll probably hear about that. So that's really important, man. All blessings to that child. Moving on. I think we have, last but not least, let her come on in.
Yeah. So, um, eccentric finesse, like I said, is a continuation of what I started to work on while I was in school. I was a non-traditional student, meaning I went back after being out of school, I want to say for like 4 or 5 years. So I was much older. And I knew that when I went back to school, there had to be a purpose behind everything that I've done. And I recently told this story, sorry. I recently told this story at a training. Now I work as a case manager, and it kind of all goes together, but where like maybe around 8 or 9 years old, I was faced with a situation with like white kids who pretty much uh, asked me if I was Muslim or Christian because they could only play with Christians, and it didn't matter that I was black. It just mattered what my religion was. So at that moment, I kind of like somehow figured that not only could you see that I was black, I always knew that I was black. I was always proud to be black, but there was something else that others could see. So you had to stand firm on something. So with this transition from working for 4 plus 5 years in a call center, selling health insurance, just demands all the way, like you got to make sales, you got to provide perfect customer service, all the while being cursed out. I knew that with this transition going into school, I had to begin this journey where I was seriously standing for something. I didn't know what that thing was. I didn't know how it would happen. I just believed that it would fall upon me. So I became an art major and created these series of vessels that told the story of um, my life as a child of someone who suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, my father, and I went through battles with depression and just all these things, and I began writing poetry as a way to tell my story. And as I built these vessels, I realized not only did these vessels hold my story, but they would help other people to tell their story. So as that happened, there was a vessel that I created and attached my locks to it. And on the locks, I started to make hair jewelry out of copper wire. Then I started to explore, like, different things with copper, how it holds energy and so on and so forth. And sometimes when it's patinaed the right way, it'll, have its own little story. So, and each piece of hair jewelry was like a small story. So I continued with this series of storytelling and engaging in conversation with different people, and talking vessels happened. And I realized how powerful it was to not only have my own story, but to be kind of like the caveat or supporter of other people, to be in one space where we all share the same story of being black, of sometimes going through depression, of experiencing, a parent who's there but not there, or not understanding a lot of different things that happen in life, but being in this moment where everyone is listening to your story. And not only are they listening to your story, but they're being set free. So once that happened, it was like, okay, how can I continue to make this happen? Like, because this is powerful. So I started to create jewelry out of the copper wire. And instead of it being big ceramic vessels, it was small, tiny earrings or a piece of hair jewelry. I'm just now discovering like crystals and stuff like that. So it's still developing, but really, really what this is about is having people honor themselves and to understand that your story is important. But not just that, like if somebody walks by you, hey, nice earrings, thanks, it starts a conversation. So conversation is extremely important in the healing process, the nurturing process, the evolution of our people, and everything like that. So it's helping me to understand, you know, this little purpose that I have in life of helping people to tell their story and to continue to tell my own and bring awareness to mental health and so on and so forth.
Well, definitely. And just to let everybody know, Liz, I met Liz in college. I went to university, and she is an amazing poet. She is an amazing singer. She is just talented, crazy. She has such a kind heart. I'm not gonna lie to you, Liz. The first time Liz did poetry, she was so powerful. What is that? I thought that she might have been a little mean. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that it was possible that she might have been a little mean. I never told her that. That's why she's looking like that. But she was kind. You know, the first time she was actually a lot like a mom. Like, you know, I don't know if anybody ever lived on campus or anywhere. There's always somebody who, amongst all the youth, becomes like the mom. And every time I saw her in the circles, she was always like Mama Liz or whatever, you know. She always gave that vibe off, you know. And so it's nice to see that she's doing a business that's also, you know, a lot really nurturing in a sense and coming from more of that compassionate side, you know. But if I don't know if you could look her up and go to her poetry, but if some of y'all have seen my poetry, you know, she's killing all that. She's, you know what I'm saying? Liz is top notch. You know what I'm saying? Y'all going to see one day probably catch Liz on HBO or something. But she's definitely top notch. But that brings us in to our next portion where we're going to have a discussion. Now you guys can unmute your mics, but if you have a lot of noise in your background, keep it muted. Or if somebody comes in and somebody's loud, mute it again. But right now you can kind of unmute your mics because we're going to have a discussion. And we're going to talk about black economics. Just pretty much, what does black economics mean to you? Like, what is black economics? Anybody can start off, anybody can go, but I just want to know, what is black economics?
I would go.
Okay, well, okay.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I go ahead.
I was just gonna say black economics is black unity with our own separate from everybody else, having our own thing, spending with each other, building with each other, knowing that we're important enough to invest in ourselves and in each other. That's black economics to me.
So yeah, most definitely. I think you know, that unity, that connection, that building together, pooling of those things together. Black economics is African in nature. It's tied into the motherland. It's what we did in African villages. There was no term for, you know, black economics. It's just what we did. You know, we kind of connected, we bartered with each other, we kept the money within that community, we looked out for each other. So I think it's bringing that concept of community to, you know, I guess people, blacks, Africans in the West, and kind of like really kind of reinstilling that need, that necessity to kind of look towards each other to kind of share in the prosperity and abundance that they're bringing. And not only in sharing in the prosperity and abundance, but also looking to build foundations. I think that's one of the biggest things that's kind of missing. You look at a lot of these companies like Bill Gates and you know, and they're creating foundations. You know, we have a lot of athletes and stars that, you know, multi-million dollar, you know, deals, but what are they actually creating as a foundation for future, you know, youth to kind of build off of? Yeah, they give a lot of money to charity and things of that nature, and you know, I think that's a great thing. But what are you creating so that the next person after you, the youth after you, don't have to work as hard to establish a business if they want to. They don't have to work hard to get a loan. You know, that all that you can give all the money you want to charity, but that's not going to do anything for future generations. And I think that's one of the key things missing, like actually building a foundation for those who come after you to stand. That's what our ancestors did. They left things for us, not to just be like be in awe of us or kind of be inspired by us and just like, you know, we're amazing, but what are you going to do next? You know, when a pharaoh, a Nusibian Kemet created a pyramid, the next pharaoh after him, son or line in that generation, didn't create something smaller, didn't create something similar. Like they created something larger, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think creating that foundation is really key.
Yeah. Just a comment. You said something about charity. Well, we need everybody, because everybody, don't get me wrong, it's not wrong with giving to charity, but maybe somebody needs to make a charity for black businesses. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we need to have like a charity where people are giving money just to black businesses. We do need it, you know, or just a charity to, you know, like for example, there's a lot of schools in D.C., independent schools, charter schools, African centered schools that they don't want to fund anymore. Nobody wants to give money to them anymore. You know, I'm working at one of them. So, you know, it's very interesting that we'll give our charity. We'll give money to a rainforest 1 billion miles away, but nobody will give a charity to the kids who live in their backyard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just unfortunately it just doesn't happen that way. So, and that's a part of black economics. The way that everybody treats your charities, the way everybody treats, you know, your church. You know, the way you treat your church when everybody's giving money every week, $20 bills, $100 bills. Look, I'm not telling you you can worship whoever you want, but I'm saying you can give that also to the community. You could put that. Let's have a money in the basket that we pass around the hood, and everybody put money into it, and we fix the streets and we fix the homes. And, you know what I'm saying? We fix the schools, and you know we tear down some of the prisons and build more schools. And that way, you know, that's black economics. You know, so does anybody else have anything else to say on black economics before we move forward?
Uh, my talk economics is pretty much, I would say black economics is us and what we do in general. Like each of us are running businesses, and ultimately the business isn't just specifically for us, but in order to ensure the future of our future. That's talking about our kids and our families and the communities in general as far as black people go, and it's specifically for black people. That's why we're saying black economics. It's to generate a steady form of wealth that's going to last after us. Like it's not just about us. Like I'm not saying my children have to take over my business, but I want my business to be something that's going to eventually pay for whatever my children want to do with their future, or my business is eventually going to give back to everybody in my community's children. Like I was talking to you earlier about the whole, I hopefully want to get to a magnitude where I could like link up with like a businesses such as like the Boys and Girls Club or one of the schools that you're teaching at or anything like that, and like bring art to the children, show the children that it's not as hard as it seems to embrace their form of art. And in that I might be teaching one out of 100 children that they could also do this and start their own business, and they could start selling, and they could build for their people, and it's just creating a circle that generates never-ending revenue that keeps bringing our people up instead of pulling them down and keeping people in debt. And like it's black economics is us. Is what I'm saying.
Well, definitely, black economics is us. I mean, that's really how you sum it up. But to move on, we're at 8:45. So let's talk about boycotting versus black independence. A lot of people don't understand the difference. Okay, to boycott something, I want to make this very clear to people, doesn't mean that's not necessarily black independence, right? So you might have a problem with an establishment, you might have a problem with a town, a city, a country, and you might say, until I get what I want, I am not going to spend my money on this particular business. So everybody knows about the boycott on buses. You know, until we can say what we want, we're not going to get on the bus. We're going to take money out of your pockets and keep it in our own pocket. And but after they complied, they started spending their money on that business once again and getting back on the bus. That's a boycott. Okay? Black independence is when you say, I'm not going to spend my money there at all because I don't have to. We're independent. I have my own buses. You know, I have my own places to go. So some people will say that we don't necessarily need boycotting, and some people say we don't necessarily need black independence. So I want to hear what you guys think. Anybody can start it off.
I'd like to speak on that briefly. I think that both of them. Can you hear me? I know I put these earphones in. Can everyone hear me? Okay, right on. So I think that both of them have their place in the movement. I think that the boycotts aren't as successful as they can be because we don't usually strategize enough and have a goal. We don't boycott and say that, and never mind demands, but just having goals, period. I mean, even when we're coming out and the hands up, don't shoot crap or whatever, there's no goals. There's just an outcry. It's just a tantrum. It's just showing that we're upset. But if we have different levels to the organizing. So let's say surface level, it looks like boycotting, but we've already been planning to launch a business. So we're like, okay, boom. When we tell them we're going to boycott this restaurant, we know we opening one across the street or uptown. We're going to push everybody over there. They're going to enjoy it so much, and they're going to feel empowered that boycott is going to turn into a different type of lifestyle. But to say that we're not going to boycott, and then there's people that, you know, they aren't educated in revolution or strategy, or they don't want to risk, you know, some of the things that you'd have to do. They need a place. So they can do the boycotting and then get led over and mature within the movement. But I think that they both have their place.
No, I definitely understand that everything has its place, and time is everything. Does anybody else have anything to say about boycotting versus black independence? All right, we're going. If nobody else.
Oh, you know what? I did have one more thing to say. I'm
okay,
sorry.
Go ahead. Hey, no.
The other thing I was going to say is something I noticed, and this goes back to lack of strategy, is it's very obvious what the counters are going to be. You know what I mean? It's like clockwork. Are they going to send them? They're going to send these people, or they're going to do this and that. But we know it, but we don't develop any kind of counter strategy. Like, okay, so when they do this, boom, we already got this in place that they don't know about. We assume that they overhear all of our communication and et cetera, and we still plan to a fault. If we know that, we can put part of that in the strategy, and knowing that, like, okay, we know they hear us talking, so we know that, you know, offline we could be writing notes like, this is what we really gonna do or what have you. But you know what I mean? We just do more of the whole parent tantrum type of thing, and like, well, we gonna be out here for as long as they let us out here. They gonna know we upset.
Yeah.
And that's not progress. That's not development.
Yeah, and it shows you the way we perceive white people. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a tantrum with ourselves. We don't put ourselves to the same standards that we put white people. We don't go into the black leaders. We don't go to the black people in the community and the middle class black people and say, hey, we need this, we need that, we need this. We don't go to them. We don't expect nothing from each other. We go to white people. We ask them for everything, and we beg. And to me, to be honest, that's begging. You know, and I don't like to beg for anything. I don't remember ever begging for anything in my entire life. I think the only time I might have even begged before, my mom smacked me on my mouth. So I never, I'm not really into begging people who already don't like you. I mean, these are the same people we're talking about when we say Black Lives Matter. They turn around and say all lives matter. You know, we say, hey, please stop shooting us. Hands up, don't shoot. They say terrorists. Look, he's he's trying to protect himself. He's a terrorist. So, you know, it tells you the way they perceive you, you know, and not even about judging them whether they're necessarily good or bad. It's not about that. It's about the way they perceive you. They don't look at you as something, and when they do help you, it's like when they go into the jungles and they help orangutans. I'm serious, that's the way they look at it. They pity you. They say, oh, look at this poor animal, this poor creature. And now that I'm taking care of this poor creature, look how great I am. Look how angelic I am, and they boast and they feel good about themselves. It's about them not feeling like the bad guy, and it's
Right.
called
They hadn't created the problem in the first place.
yeah, it's called the white man's burden. I want everybody watching this to go look up something called the white man's burden. When they went and they colonized people and they enslaved people, the excuse was, well, we have to. This is us taking care of everybody. You know what I'm saying? It made them feel a bit better about all the bad and terrible things they did. But we
What
have to
America
do
does to all these other countries.
exactly. So when they go and they do help black people, it's one, it's always at a price. So I'm not in the business of calling white people the devil, but I will tell you that you learn a lot from watching these movies about contracts with the devil, making deals with the devil, because they have a similar formula.
Mm.
They'll ask for something and they'll give it to you, but there'll be an underlining price. You know what I'm saying? There'll be a price behind the door that you don't see until the deal is over. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of business that they're into. That's why when they depict the devil on their movies, they depict him as a man in a business suit with a briefcase. You know what I'm saying? That's that's the way they do business. Not just the black people, the people. You know what I'm saying? The contracts always have something else in it. So if they're giving us something, if they do give you guys what they want, what you want, there'll be a price. You know, believe that there'll be a price that you don't really see until it's over. You know. So, does anybody else have anything to comment on or say about boycotts and like anything?
No, I mean, I think everything, all the points that you guys have put out there are dead on, like right on the money. We're over here playing a game that we don't know the rules of. Like, it's like coming in playing checkers with somebody who's playing chess. These guys have been doing this, and we could talk about this like all day. But these guys have been doing this for a long time. They've created moves decades ago that are being implemented now. So we're playing with people that have already elaborately, set up a way of being for years. They've already looked ahead. Their next move is already like, years ahead while we're looking in the present. We throw temper tantrums in the present, based on what they're doing. And they already have like, backdoor ways of, taking care of it and dealing with it and having us feel that we've gotten what we need, but it's only moving our pawn pieces to, the next space, where they can basically enact exactly what they're looking for. So yeah, we're playing the wrong game with them. And at this point, trying to figure out what that game is probably not the best. Which is, I think, boycotting. I think it's to get out and just create your own game, man. Like,
Yeah.
we're creative people, we're brilliant people, we're smart people, like we're the innovators, man. And you gotta come to that understanding that we define our own reality. So it's time to create a new game and stop trying to figure out what their game is and trying to figure out the secrets of their game so we can beat them at their game. Like, let's just forget their game and just leave it alone. Like, let them play by themselves. Let them play by themselves. I'm done.
Nah, because no,
Right.
that's right. Because by the end of the day, when it comes to like what they're doing, I tell you, one of the games they're playing is to make us repeat mistakes of the past by making the mistakes in the past look like success. That's just the way you go about it. If you make our mistakes in the past look like they were success, look like that was progress, then we're going to do it when we see the problem again. So that's why you see a lot of people on the news saying things like, oh, this is like the civil rights. You know what I'm saying? This is like this because they want you to operate in the same way so y'all can do the same thing, which is going to lead you back to the same place. It's very repetitive. So you got to break that cycle. Look, man, fighting for social equality, and that's what we want with social equality. Fighting for social equality did not accomplish much. It just didn't. So the next thing you need to fight for is economic equality. You know what I'm saying? And not asking them for money, but saying that I demand to be independent, to make my own money, to make my own stores, to do my own things, to have my own community, and I have the right to do so and to have so. And that's more valuable. Just like the brother said, be our own, play our own game. Moving on. So in order, because I had to skip the freestyle and run out of time. So in order, how did your Heru month go? As a business, did people you don't have to say how much you sold, but how did it go? Hopefully it went well. How did people were people buying from you? Did you get people who hit you up? Was there anything that you sold that was like, wow, I'm glad I sold that to that person? Any new connections? Any higher spirits? And we're going to start off in order with Diana.
Yeah, I did get a few. I did get a few purchases, I think, through Hero Month, so that was really awesome. I've been selling a lot of my products every night at Kwanzaa. I skipped Kwanzaa tonight to make this, but so that's going really well. And Dr. Umar Johnson will be on here on the first, so I know that night I'll make a lot of sales. But I definitely see a lot of black dollars exchanging, and I've actually been bartering with people. So I like that. I like people are like, okay, well, I'll give you this, you give me this, whoop de whoop. So that's been working out really nicely.
Peace. Yeah, I do believe that I've gotten a lot more people liking and commenting and visiting my webpage, but I think that all goes into just the idea that our people are still a little hesitant on, connecting value to what looks like them. I've been to many shows where, like the Comic Cons and the Wizard Cons and all these huge events where, I have a lot of people coming by and they're like, oh man, this is really hot. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is beautiful. Do you got a Batman? You got a Superman? Like, and it's like our people come to me and say, wow, you're doing something that I haven't seen. I haven't seen it anywhere here, but I'm still looking for you in your style to recreate something that I'm comfortable with. And I think I've dealt with that issue for a long time where, they don't equate value to themselves. So the things that I create are cool, but until it's validated by the other system, can they actually put their money towards it? So they're almost like at bay, like they're kind of like looking at it from a distance across the street, kind of saying, it's hot, but I don't know yet. I don't know. They're playing double dutch with my stuff, man. And but I know, like, if I keep pushing hard, keep doing it, keep holding true to it, keep being that lighthouse, that beacon. That, like they said, if you build it, they'll come. I'm going to be here as long as it needs to. That's my charge. That's my dedication to the craft, dedication to my people. But yeah, it hasn't really. It's just likes and comments, and I think they're just kind of like tiptoeing, like sticking their foot in the water.
Yeah, before the next person go, I want to tell everybody that it's great, and I meant to say this, it's great to like and comment on people's business page, but yo, you can spend a few dollars, alright? It's okay. It ain't gonna bite you in the butt, you know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna come and get you. Spend a few dollars. It's okay. It don't. You're going to spend it on Chick-fil-A anyway. You're going to go and spend it on Burger King. You know what I'm saying? Like, go. Most people spend like, I know most of y'all spend over $20 at fast food anyway. So take some of that fast food money, take some of that cigarette money, take some of that, you know what I'm saying? Some of that extra money that you spend on apps, and go ahead and spend it on a brother or sister's page. It's you know what I'm saying? I just want to encourage y'all to do that. So for y'all watching, y'all know who y'all are. though, you know what I'm saying, who be supporting black businesses by liking them. Now, don't get me wrong, because I'm not a billionaire either. I don't got money to spend on everybody's business, but go out and if you see something you like, drop a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? Just drop a few dollars. That's all I got to say. Even if you gotta go, and I know how some of y'all are, because I'm low key like this sometimes. If you gotta go to the cheapest section of the website, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look for the $5, the $10. You know what I'm saying? Go but spending and spending. You know what I'm saying? It still goes somewhere. So, you know, that's all right too. Moving on.
I set a projection for how much I wanted to sell before January, and Heru Month was I got the most commissions. I got the most commissions I could during Heru Month, so it came out pretty good. I didn't reach the goal, but I reached more than half of the goal, so that worked out for me. But yeah, it's like everybody else says. It's just like people, as much as they support you with a like and a comment and like nice words, like like it's a business, so we don't make money off of your likes and your comments. We appreciate it because it's support no matter what. But with financial support, it allows us to keep doing what we're doing at the same time. So we, like if you got it, then come get it. If you don't got it, then by all means share it with somebody who may have it. You know what I'm saying? I put a post like that on Facebook the other day. It was like I noticed a lot of people like my pictures when I post them, but like sharing my picture goes a long way too, because the more people that see it, the more customers that come to the business. They're like, well, if you like it, your friend might like it, your mom might like it, your dad might like it, your girl might like it, So you want to make these photos go viral just as much as these memes about black people acting up or these YouTube videos about cops killing people go viral. You want to make the positive stuff go viral, make that man's clothing line go viral, make the queen's jewelry line go viral, and the oils and the other queen's books and my art, your teaching skills, everything. Make all that stuff go viral just as much as all this negative stuff y'all like to make go viral. So we could, if you keep promoting all the negative visuals, then that's all people gonna see about us. They ain't gonna be worried about no black economics and all like that. It's just we are these ratchet TVs and these sad things to see and all these posts about stand up for the people that died and stuff like that, which is fine. Like never forget the issues, but promote the positive part of this world, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to rebuild each other, not just one another. Like I spent money on a couple black businesses during Heru Month, and I'm pretty happy with what I spent on too. So it's nice, but I know the people who I sold paintings to, they're all very happy to be hanging up the paintings of that stuff because of what it depicts. Just do it for everybody, man. Just make everything go viral. You'll sell more. That's what we got to start pushing towards. It's marketing between each other.
Word. Everything he said was true too. Make sure y'all do that. Moving on. I don't need too much time.
All right. And I want to start off with saying that I don't think about white people every day. I don't think about white people most days, nor my enemies. And I don't lead off with thinking about how I need to live my life blocking. You block when somebody swing at you. Like I'm making moves, and anything that gets in the way gets dealt with accordingly. And I think that we've put way too much time in focusing on white people and not focusing on us, on the people that's living and creating things that we need to develop. Because we have sporadic, millionaires, thousandaires that are supporting businesses, but we don't have any kind of collective thing going on. We're going to come and invest in this neighborhood, and then we can show up to the meetings and say we want a Garvey statue because it's our park and we're the majority here. We could have it. You know what I'm saying? Like we could get together in collectives and accomplish small and then larger goals. And then if white people or white people in black faces or whatever the illusion, whatever form the illusion, the system of white supremacy wants to come in, gets in the way, then deal with it then. But anyhow, for me, I am so humble when I say this and appreciative. You guys, this month has been the most successful month for me, for my business in its entire existence. Whatever in the universe that contributes to that, I'm humble and thankful for whatever that is, all of it. And I've been spending with all the businesses I can see. And what I would say about that is that one, you don't have to tell us to spend money. Like we are the #1 consumers. We got the money. We spend the money. You know what I'm saying? We giving it to the wrong businesses. We got to be mindful when we need something to look at us. So when my little sister's Earth Day comes up, I need to come to Sister Ayana and say, okay, what she got? I'm gonna get something for my sister or my grandmother. I got my grandmother Hidden Colors 2 weeks ago from a black business, and my Alpha 21. She loved both of those documentaries. I ordered her some yoga stuff. So we just got to find a way to make it functional and it become normal. So it won't even be like charity. It won't be like, well, you know what, Ayana, I want you to win. Like, you know what, I rock with your products. And you a sister, like, done and done. And I think that'll help us keep it all year long, like we all want to see. But yeah, it was great, and I'm hoping that it continues and grows even bigger. So yeah.
Wow. I'm sure that was a combination of a lot of things. I'm sure it was a combination of just how great your business is, you know what I'm saying, and how
Shit,
high
it wasn't working
quality.
before.
So, from the time of the year to everything, the ancestors, all that, I think that's really a blessing. Liz?
Well, this month I really just took the time to I guess refocus and kind of try to discover how to navigate getting my business to other people, because as of right now, my biggest supporter are like my friends, people that have seen like from the beginning to now, and different people that I bounce ideas off of. Um, so now I've just been trying to figure out like marketing tools, like how to take better pictures and what people are actually interested in. I've been playing around with like the structure of earrings and like the weight and just different things. So um, really, I just took the time to see what's out there. Definitely have been supporting people um, and bartering, but yeah, I guess my success really comes from just growth. I appreciate just growing and hearing other people's stories and learning. So,
Definitely, most definitely. And I'm glad I had a really good Heru month as well. I still got some, when I get my next paycheck, I still got some places I gotta go spend that. For y'all who speak to me frequently, and I did not get to touch bases at some of y'all businesses, but I will. Like I said, I've been on the move, trying to get a new apartment. I got a new teaching position, so I will be making a stop at everybody's business on the panel, and you can hold me to that. I will be making a stop. I want to thank y'all for even being a part of this panel. I want to thank all of y'all for supporting Haruma. Everybody on this panel, there's a few on here, but everybody on this panel has been extremely supportive of Haruma, and that speaks to your character because you saw something that was for the people and you said, you know what, I want to support that, I want to push that because you got a lot of people on these Instagrams, the MySpaces, the Facebooks, I said MySpace, but Facebook, who um who really act like they give a damn about the people but really don't. And they're really just on here to be on here to play pretend. I'm starting to doubt that some of these black conscious Instagrams are even white. I mean, they're even black. I think some of them are white people, honestly. So, a lot of people have been disingenuous, to really the black struggle and the movement. So it's always really like a breath of fresh air to see that yes, there's people who really do care. I'm not crazy. To see that you're not the only person who is trying. So it's really a blessing to see all of you here and do so much good work and be so supportive of your people. And hopefully we keep building and making things better and bigger. I will actually be hitting all of you up sometime this week about an idea I have with black businesses. So, you know, but without further ado, I want everybody to sign out. I will start off, then Ayana, and then follow through in the same order, and just say pretty much where they can find you as far as your social network and your name and it's out. So, My name is Eloheem. You can find me obviously at Al Kometz. That's AL_KELEPS. You can find me on Facebook, Eloheem Al Kometz Ali. You can just Google Eloheem Ali, Eloheem space ALI, and I'm sure something weird will pop up out of my mixtape or my Instagram. So thank you for supporting.
All right, peace, family. It's Ayana, and you can check me out on YouTube at Goddess Ayana, and that's AAYANNA. Instagram Divine Stargate, or Facebook Ayana Divine, that's DIVIGN. And you can check out my website, and that's www.godpeace.com.
Tap, this is Sonic Cat. You can reach me at Conscious Creations, pretty much through most social media. That's Conscious with a K, so KONSCIOUS Creations, CREATIONS, consciouscreations.com, as well as Instagram, Twitter, things of that nature. So yeah, just Google it up, just like Alchemist said, and something will come up for me.
My name is Adnan. You can find me on Instagram at NabsVision. That's NABZVISION. You can find me on Facebook at NabsVision, or you can type in Adnan Ankh, ADNAN, Ankh spelled ANKH.
The Sister Seeds Publishing.
Wow, I was on mute. Okay, do over. So I'm Akua, and I don't know if you can see my website, seedsbookpublishing.com. My Instagram is Akua Agusai, or Akua_Agusai. If you like this, if you're into that type of stuff there. And then Akua Agusai on Facebook too. My YouTube is Seeds Book Publishing. Not that active on there, but I got some stuff.
Where? Last but not least.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Eccentric Finesse. That's ECCENTRICFINESSE. That's the same thing on Facebook, Eccentric Finesse. You can find me on YouTube. I have a couple of videos with poetry. I believe it's under Finesse ASAP. It's FINESSEASAP. And on Etsy, Finesse Eccentric. So FINESSEECCENTRIC, and Tumblr, Eccentric-Finesse.
Word. Like I said, thanks for watching. Subscribe. Follow all these beautiful people. I am going to post all their Instagrams up just in case you missed it all. And you can go follow them and support them and buy from them. Just want to get in your head. Peace, blessings. Have a great night. Don't let the New Year's be the only time you make a change. Happy Heru Month. Signing out of all the black people all across the world. Bye.